following the killing of barrister Bolanle Raheem by a policeman in Ajah axis of Lagos State, Nigeria on Christmas Day. Nigerians have called out for speedy justice and a complete reform of the nation's security outfit. In less than a month, Bolanle's death makes it the second following the demise of a young man identified as Gafaru Buraimo of Happy Land Estate, Ajah, who had gone to buy petrol when he was gunned down by a trigger-happy police inspector.
Well, as of today, nothing has been heard by the police force concerning the death of Gafaru Buraimo until Sunday, December 25th, when another sad and avoidable situation left the entire country mourning. Presidential candidates, lawmakers, and the number one citizen of the country have all joined voices in calling for police reform. Well, this leads to some questions.
Exactly, and these questions are, what does this reform mean? Will it bring an end to phrases that lots of Nigerians hear every now and then? Phrases like, I will shoot you here, and nothing will happen. Will it mean an end to an extortion or unlawful detention? Will it mean good salaries for men in the police force? Will it change the recruitment phases of entrance into the Nigerian police force? And will it improve our security architecture? These are some of the questions on the hearts of Nigerians. And when we talk about this, I'm reminded of the NSAS movement that happened in 2020. These are some of the things that young Nigerians were protesting for. These are some of the reforms. I mean, Fawzi the bad guy did tweet yesterday, I believe, talking about this incident and saying that this is what we're advocating for, a change, a reform in the police sector, being able to bring them under a grip, being able to reform things for them. And even a lot of the police officers in 2020 thoroughly criticized the NSAS movement. What they didn't realize was that some of these young Nigerians who were protesting were also protesting for them, asking that these men are working nights, day in, day out, increase their salaries, increase their remuneration, increase their pay, ensure that you give them, great opportunities, give them good training, insurance, basically make life bearable for them, because when you're happy in doing your job, mentally you're in a much better state to relate with the citizens. If you go to organizations where the employees are properly taken care of, you can tell there's a certain level of happiness. Even from the customer service, the culture is different. It's not a culture of toxicity, because they are okay, they're happy, there's sufficient remuneration, right? I was having this conversation about employment. I'll still come back to Bolanle's story, but I was looking at a vacancy by a multinational in Europe. And whilst they stated what they were looking for, they stated what you stand to gain. It's almost like they are toasting you to come and work with them. They're telling you, serene environment by the sea, access to the spa at any time you're stressed, this and that. So they were talking about the things, access to a cave in the mountains. So it was a situation of, come, we want your services, but we will take good care of you. So part of the advocacy that lots of Nigerians were making was the police need to be taken care of. But notwithstanding, they need to be trained, because a lot of them, I don't know if you saw the thread, I was talking about the recruitment process and the flaws in the recruitment process, because that flaw is evident in the way that they handle situations.
I mean, there are cases of nepotism, there are cases of the police not being well taken care of, like you said. The welfare is poor. I mean, just think about this. If you're not well paid, you don't live in a good environment. I'm sorry, but the environment is not conducive. Imagine now having a conversation. How would you be able to carry out a conversation with someone? And some of the police officers are not paid on time.
Yes.
I mean, we've seen cases in the media where some of them have called and remain anonymous. Some have even spoken deep that they've not seen their salaries. So how do they survive?
Yes. So even as we make the case for the police people in that regard, this man who has committed this crime cannot be exonerated.
No,
he needs to face the law. He needs to be made an example to ensure that other policemen know that it is not acceptable to do this. Because we go through these cycles, like I said earlier. It happens, everybody shouts, and then we go back into our closets. We cannot be afraid of the police as much as we are afraid of thieves.
I think for me as well, Olive, I mean, spare me if I might use this word. I'm also more concerned about who it happens to. Buraimo didn't get this much publicity. When I say publicity, I mean here on News Central we spoke about it, and a few media houses spoke about it. We're not trying to downplay who is dead. I mean, the dead is dead. It's quite sad and unfortunate, but for me, all lives matter. All of it. Buraimo's instance or case happened. This young man, he had dreams. He was about to travel abroad, like we heard, and all of a sudden he was killed. After You know, a lot of protests took place close to the Ajah police station. People were dispersed, tear gas and all that, and they left. That story died a few hours later. The families were left to mourn and handle the entire case themselves. And like I said, and like we just rightly mentioned, this story died until December 25th. It was like it unearthed something and every other thing came back, including Braima's story. My point is, there's no life that is less. There's no life that is less or less important. All lives matter.
Well, that all lives matter
All.
statement is a statement that can cause lots of political controversy.
No.
But
I'm being honest.
I don't know that.
So if a child was killed as well, so like the barrister, 3. You know, initially we thought it was just her, but 3 of them, the twins she had in the tummy, and then herself, 3. So if it was, I mean, you're a lawyer as well. If you go to the court, are you not going to count the 2 lives that mattered in the tummy? You're going to say, oh, you just killed 1 person. No, because the children in the tummy were living. They were about to be born. They were living. That's life. So I'm going to take it to the instance of saying lives matter, regardless of who was killed. It's still a life, and you must pay for it in the justice system.
Right. We hope that, you know, it's not just his name being released and him being reprimanded, that he's made to pay. There has to be dire consequences, hard-hitting consequences.
Let me shock you.
Sorry to cut in.
Sorry to cut in, Olive. What shocks me the most is that the Senate is looking to pass a bill that will stop police officers from drinking on duty.
You know what?
Are they supposed to drink on duty? It's like saying you want to pass a bill for Olive and Joe on live set
to not
go
drinking
naked.
alcohol or something. But the truth is, this is what they do.
It's common.
They talk to you, and as they're talking to you, you can smell the stench from some of them. It's ridiculous.
Anyway,
but we have Elizabeth. Elizabeth is on standby for Trend Wave to talk about what's trending. It's sad that we have to talk about this story, which is trending. It's a negative story, but we cannot keep saying that. We cannot stop saying that justice needs to be served, and justice in this case would mean that this never happens to anyone again. Our thoughts and our prayers go to the families, the friends, the loved ones, and all of Nigerians who are mourning the loss of Bolanle Raheem and the young man as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Brian.
Absolutely.